Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Hangar Talk podcast. This week, we sit down with airshow performer Jon Melby. In this episode, we discuss all aviation-related topics, including his book, his aerobatic career, and much, much more. We hope you guys enjoy the episode, and Happy New Year, because this is our first episode of 2024. I can't wait for more episodes this year. We hope it's an amazing year for the Aviation Avenue YouTube channel and the Hangar Talk podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode today with Jon Melby. We'll see you next time.
What'd you get?
It's a Sigma 150-600.
Nice. Good.
So I get to use that at the 2024 airshow season.
Right. Well, I hope you get some shots of me because that's really important.
Yeah, it is. So let's start with you, sir. How did you get into aviation?
Actually, my dad, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, was taking flying lessons, and he asked if I wanted to go along with. I'm like, sure, okay. And I grew up in Duluth, Minnesota, which is on the tip of Lake Superior. And we went over to the airport, and I got in the back seat of a Cherokee 180, and we taxied out, and I was excited, and we took off, and I just sat and looked outside with my eyes wide open. Never been flying before, and I thought, this is so cool. And just flying around that whole area is just beautiful. You see everything a little bit differently. And then when I was 12, I went to an air show, and our next door neighbor was the sponsor of the air show, so we got to be in the VIP tent. And I saw legendary air show pilot Bob Hoover, and he was performing there along with Art Scholl. And after they were done, I was able to go out to the airplane and take a picture with Bob Hoover. And I got done. I told my dad, I said, someday I'm going to become an airshow pilot. And he's like, oh, okay, son, that sounds good. Well, I was 12 years old, and I became an airshow pilot in about 39 years old, 40 years old, and it came true. So watching people at air shows and watching pilots, that resonates with me. It's pretty much what I do, and why I do what I do is to be able to help older people and young people enjoy aviation. That's how I got started.
Awesome. That is amazing. That's a great story right there. And then breaks off photography. Good morning, Fear Boss.
All right.
You know who he is?
No.
Breaks off photography.
I'm not sure.
He's a very cool photographer. He does like photography at air shows.
Nice.
Nice.
Good.
So I have another question for you. I was watching this air show documentary recently. I did a live video on it, a review, I think, the other day, and you were in it. Do you remember being interviewed for that?
Depends on which one. So I was on Discovery Channel Canada back in 2015 or so. And
yeah, it's that one.
So it's on Amazon Prime. Prime bought it out from Discovery Channel Canada. It's called Airshow. And it's on Amazon Prime. It's free. And I was in season 1 and season 2. Season 1 is out there right now, and I'm in episodes 10, 11, and 12. And it was actually, yeah, I remember very well because you have all these people around you with cameras, and it was the first time being exposed to that type of thing. And my airplane was slung with GoPros. I had 5 GoPros running at all times, and I flew all through Canada, United States, and Mexico, filming with them. So yeah, I remember very well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I just finished watching all 12 episodes.
Okay, so
of season
you saw me with Stefan when I was introduced in episode 10, where Stefan is a brand new airshow pilot, 26 years old, and went to an air show by the Yellowknife, Northwest Territory, Canada. It's up by the Arctic Circle, and he flew his airplane. I had to do it too, but he flew his airplane from Ontario all the way up there, but his fuel transfer switch broke and was not able to transfer fuel, so he's running out of gas. So you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
That whole thing is absolutely true, and I spun up my GoPros because they've asked me to go take off and go intercept them, and I intercepted them over what's called Slave Lake. It's always 34 degrees, so if he ran out of gas in that lake, he'd be dead in about 2 minutes. And I'm like, I don't want to go over there. I hate Slave Lake because, you lose a motor, you're dead. But, and so Steph and I are really good friends. That was the first time I met him in the air, staying by his wing. And ever since then, we've been really good friends. But it's actually a really good inside look into the airshow business. And all those people are my friends with a bunch of psychotic pilots. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow, that was amazing. And then where's season 2? Is it out yet or no?
No, not yet. So they stopped at the end of season two. Discovery Channel Canada tried to sell it to the United States. They didn't want to buy it, and so they stopped production. And it was about
Uh,
500,000 homes a week were watching it in Canada. And but now it's getting a little bit of an insurgence here in the United States. Maybe something will kick in. I've been talking to some of my friends that are producers that maybe will make something else like that, but maybe something like Airshow Pilot, make it a little bit more specific, preferably about me, which would be kind of fun with my background, and then just doing a Netflix type thing. We'll see. Well,
yeah,
who knows?
that would be very fun. Now,
Mhm.
do you remember your first air show that you performed in?
It's really funny because you make your bed, you got to sleep in it. So it's like, I'm going to become an airshow pilot, and you have to. There's a lot of work to do that. You have to get certified. You have to get a commercial pilot's license, all that. My very first air show was in Winslow, Arizona. They didn't market it very well, so only like 400 people showed up. But it was my very first air show, and I remember drinking a half a bottle of Pepto-Bismol because I was so nervous because, oh my gosh, it's that you're finally there. And it was just a real basic. I flew a 2-seat Pitts S2B, it's called, so not a lot of power, but you got to start someplace. And I was at 500 feet at that time. And then in the air show world, if you're a former aerobatic competition pilot, you start at 500 feet, and then you have to do so many air
Oh,
shows safely. Then you go to 250 feet. Then you go down to the surface. And after that air show, though, I ended up meeting a bunch of people, and I got within 2 years, I was down at the surface level. It was flying about on the average 12 to 18 air shows a year, and but that first one, you can't forget it. And so now, I look at that compared to flying at Miramar, where there's 600,000 people a day, and you get at the end of the runway, and you just look at just 2 miles long of bleachers, and you're like, I could be home playing my Xbox, instead of doing this. But then on the other hand, once you get going, it's pretty fun.
yeah, it is. It's an awesome. I've been to Miramar 14 years. I've attended Miramar, and it is just my favorite show
Yep.
ever.
It's got everything from 9 in the morning till 4. And the fun thing about that, Braden, and all your listeners and followers, is that when you go to the briefing, Ray is the guy who's the air boss, and he is so good at what he does. It's very organized. I mean, to put that orchestrated thing together with all the military jets, and I got the guys behind me, like the Marine fighter pilots, they're sitting with snuff inside there. They have some stuff in them, and they're busting through at 400 some miles an hour, ripping through, doing high G yo-yos, coming in for attack positioning for that 1 hour demonstration of the tactical thing of the Marines. It's just, you're dealing with the best pilots in the world. The Blues are there. They're usually the Blues and Blue Angels, and it's just fun hanging out with them. For an aviator being in the middle of it, it's really fun. But I think for the spectators, it's a free show, so and you get the best of the best. It's the largest military air show in the world, and it's one of my favorites too to perform at.
Awesome. I've seen you there many times. I got a shot of you last year. That was the picture I invited you to do
Yeah,
it. That was at Miramar in 2022.
nice.
And
Yeah.
then next question is, do you have like a source of inspiration who inspired you to fly?
Oh, that'd have to be one, Bob Hoover. And so if you don't know if your folks don't know who Bob Hoover is, he just a great story. I mean, the guy was a fighter ace in World War II. He got shot down, was in a prisoner of war camp, escaped with a mechanic, and they took a Focke 190 at the German Air Force's airplane at nighttime, stole the airplane, flew west, and ran out of gas in the Netherlands. And I mean, he was a experimental pilot, and he was a test pilot, and became an airshow pilot. And once you know the guy, I finally met him about a couple of years before he died, and I just came up to him. I said, Bob, I got to tell you something. I mean, you inspired me so much to get into aviation. He said, well, keep paying it forward. Don't stop. This is one of the reasons why I do what I do. So Sean Tucker's the other one. So Sean Tucker, I remember I was at some air show quite a few years ago, and he goes, you can be the next me if you want to be. And it was just very inspirational because he was just basically saying, you know what, you're a good pilot. So if you want to be another Sean Tucker, you can do it. So those two in the world of aviation air shows highly inspired me. And then I've also going to go back to my dad, because my dad was the one who introduced me to it. It was always by #1 fan wherever I travel to.
Oh, wow. Wow, amazing. That is truly awesome. And then I've known Sean Tucker for many years. I've met him back in 2012 at the Plains of Fame Air Show out in Chino, California.
Sure.
And then Miramar, I've seen him. And man, he's just a really great guy. I love speaking to him and just really awesome.
Lots of energy.
Yeah.
Lots of energy.
You know, John is from Norwegian Woods. I am a Pitts pilot from Norway. Been doing air shows for a while.
Oh, yeah. What's his first name?
Pitts pilot or
that's
username.
That's Howard. Howard.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I know. We actually talked one time. We got kind of like on a FaceTime one time. And yeah. Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you. And when are you going to buy my airplane? He always wants to buy it, but I'm like, how are you going to ship it to Norway?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Bisson Aviation says, I met him in Cleveland when I was 8.
Who's that? Who did you meet?
I think Sean Tucker.
Yep.
I want to say Sean Tucker. I think so,
Yeah.
And then Breaks Off Photography. Awesome guy. Love his shots. Can you speak to your book, John, for kids? Jeremy?
Oh, yeah. So, Braden, are you familiar with this at all?
I think so.
So I wrote a book. It came out in April, and it's called The Adventures of Jumping Jonny, Jumping Johnny's First Airplane Ride. I've got a copy here. Let me grab it, if you don't mind.
No, it's all right.
So this is the book. It's in reverse, but
okay.
But it's called The Adventures of Jumping Jonny on Amazon. Just look up Jon Melby, Jon space Melby, and you'll see my book there, and you can get it drop shipped. So it's for the age group of like 4 to around 10, but it's actually a story loosely about me, and it has my dad, my mom in it. It has my 2 friends from grade school. I used to fly special ops in the Air Force, and one of my favorite pilots to fly with, he's in there, and he's actually the next door neighbor that takes me flying in a Beechcraft Bonanza, and that airplane's actually mine. And it throws little young Johnny in the left seat to go for an airplane ride, and how he just realizes the whole book is really based about, like, you're really excited about doing something, then you start getting those negative thoughts like, well, what happens if the airplane's out of control? What happens about this? And then that's why you need to research it, and you need to find a mentor, somebody who's really good at what they do, to help guide you into achieving that dream. So it's the whole Fear Boss messaging. So yeah, that book is out. It's on Amazon. I've got another one that I'll be working on, and it's The Adventures of Jumping Jonny. Johnny plays guitar, and so I play guitar, and I play in a band. And so that way it's just inspiring. And I play hockey, and I was a professional skier. So there's going to be a series of these kind of loosely about me. We'll kind of see where that goes, but allow them to allow people, kids especially, and adults, when they're reading it to them, just like, hey, wait a minute. There's some things I want to try in my life. I should actually follow the same thing. Have a dream, research that dream, and then find a mentor, somebody to help you to achieve it.
Exactly. That is very good advice. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then, do you work out to handle G-force?
Yeah, that's so it's like, if you don't understand G-forces, some people don't. A lot of people don't know what that really means. And just to reiterate what it is, like right now, I'm sitting here in my desk at my office, and I'm pulling 1 G. So let's say I weigh 200 pounds. When I'm flying the airplane, I'm driving the airplane, the faster I go, and then I pull back on the stick. The harder I pull back on the stick, my body wants to keep going towards the center of the earth. The harder I pull that stick and the faster I'm going, the relative G's, or acceleration towards the center of the earth, becomes larger and larger. And what happens is my blood and my head and my body and all my body parts want to push down. So I'm pulling 10 G's, 10 times my weight in gravity at most of the air shows, the first few maneuvers. And sometimes if I do a negative parabola and I go opposite direction, and my body's trying to push out of the airplane going upward, then I'm pulling like 3 to 4 negative G's. So to plan for that, like if right now it's kind of an off season, so I'm not practicing a lot. If I went out right now and went to do one of my first maneuvers, which I'm coming in at a right tumble at 220 miles an hour, I pulled back on stick really hard, I'm going to pull 10 Gs. I'll be blacking out or graying out at around 7 Gs.
Oh.
So because the blood leaves your eyes, and so what you have to do is, we call it an M1 straining maneuver, but you take your stomach, and you can do that now as you're sitting there. Take your stomach and suck it in really tight so you feel pain. That's for the positive Gs, and that'll keep the blood from going down to your legs. So every positive G maneuver, I'm pulling, tightening up my muscles, keeping really tight. And if you start losing vision, then the blood's leaving your eyes. You got about 4 seconds until you go into G-lock, which is G-induced loss of consciousness. Yeah, and your light's out and you're dead. So all my maneuvers that pull heavy Gs are going toward the vertical. And so that way, if I do go G-lock, or if I'm not G-lock, but I lose the vision, then I just take the stick, throw it in the front right-hand corner, full right rudder, and it puts me in an outside spiral, which throws blood into my head. It slows the airplane down. And then your vision comes back and you see stars and everything lights up like it's Christmas. And then I could be stuck in my smoke. I don't know where I'm at, but you don't want to get to that point. So lots of water. At air shows, I drink lots and lots and lots of water to stay hydrated, because if you get dehydrated because it's hot, then your blood pressure drops, and then you'll start losing your vision faster. So I have to train before the air show season. And even like now, I'll start training here after the holiday here. I'll start training. I'll do 6G pulls, 7G pulls, 8, 9, and make sure that my vision's there. And then at 10 Gs, then it's coming back. Now I'll start practicing my normal air show routine. But the first thing I do is that, and also maintaining ground rush. And then once those are taken care of, then I can start doing my routine and feeling safe and comfortable.
Oh, got it. That's very important. Training for a lot of that stuff.
Staying alive.
Staying alive too. That's very important. So I've also taken lessons before. I have about 6 hours of flight time.
Good for you. Good.
Yeah, thank you. I do it out of Chino Airport.
Yep.
In Chino, California. I flew December 17th. I flew the Piper PA-28.
Yep.
I flew circles kind of over Lake Matthews.
Nice.
A little bit. It was very, very nice. Except my ears were like not that popping very much, but like when I go up this freeway, my ears start to hurt.
Really? When you climb? You're climbing, it starts to hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Usually the air becomes lighter, it'll start to open up, and once you start going down, then they'll start building pressure. And we have to do something called a Valsalva, which I did it in the Air Force, but you hold your nose and kind of blow out your nose to pop your ears out. And you just do it very slowly to get your ears cleared.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
so
if you have a cold or something, it's not good, because that the tube that goes from your ear to your inside of your throat, that will get clogged up, and that will also cause your ears to hurt. So you gotta watch it if you have a cold, so you don't go flying too much.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's good, because a cold can get you disoriented, right?
That is really bad. The reason why is your vestibula. There's 3 rings in your ear for balance, right? One for vertical, one for side to side, and then one for horizontal. And those rings, inside of there's fluid, and there's little hair follicles. So if you drink a lot of caffeine, or if you have a cold, the fluid will start thickening up. And so what happens if you're spinning very quickly or turning, and your eyes are telling you one thing, but your brain is telling you something else, because the fluid is going too slow compared to what's relative. So that's where, like, sometimes we might have to take Benadryl to loosen up that fluid in your eyes, in your ear, because otherwise you'll be dizzy. And that's why one of the things that may sound silly, but one of the things that we do is we get in the little steno chair, those chairs that spin around like a desk chair.
Yeah.
Then you take that, close your eyes, keep your head down, spin around as fast as you can, and then stop the chair. And then you'll notice your head's still spinning, but the more you do that, the more you'll realize, or you'll have that sensation to get that feeling. Because when you're tumbling in an airplane, you have reference to the ground, but you'll still be dizzy. You have to be able to deal with that, especially if you don't do it a lot. So for your followers, if you want to try that to feel what it's like, have somebody stand behind you, put your head down, feet up, and then have them spin the chair. When they stop the chair instantly, they'll throw your head back and watch what happens. You'll spin all over the place. But after a while, you can learn to recover from that and then get used to it. So that's and it's kind of a good thing to have, just because if you have a lot of rapid movements and you're not used to it, it will help you be able to handle that better. And as a pilot, I have to use that. Not, most pilots don't, but for you, even like when you're flying, if you start flying in the clouds, or if you're flying a little bit steeper turns, it will help you for your balance and for your inner ear.
Got it. Thank you very much. And then Fly Inverted 300 says, ask John if he ever looks right.
Always looking right.
Yep. Wait, who's he? Hold up. Oh, Brad Warson.
Yeah.
Welcome, man. Welcome to
so
the interview.
Always looking right, and especially with him on my right wing.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, so that's Brad. Hey, Brad, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So Brad and I fly air shows together, and then we do a squirrel cage. And then Brad will go in, do his little maneuver, and I'm up high. And then Brad will say he's out, and then John's in. And then we talk to the crowd. And so the announcer stays quiet while we're just talking to the crowd. And then Brad will be flying along. And I'm like, hey, Bradley, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, the chicken came first, John. And we just joke around. But then people are amazed that we can talk, fly the airplanes, do our tumbling. And then so Brad and I have like 2 or 3 air shows this next year together, and we'll have more as well. Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah,
he's learning how to fly. I'm teaching him how to fly aerobatics. So he's
wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
He's a very accomplished pilot, and we joke around with each other. He flies a monowing, so he's got a high, very expensive, high performance monowing. I have an older biplane. And so I'm the older guy flying the old airplane. He's the younger guy flying the really cool monoplane, but it goes together like peas and carrots. We get along great, and we have a lot of fun when we're traveling. Bradley likes ice cream, by the way. So if you ever see him, give him a coupon for an ice cream shop. He'll love you.
Got it. I will certainly do that. And then, do you have a favorite maneuver you love to perform?
Well, it sounds silly compared to all the stuff that you can do, but I like doing an old-fashioned loop, only because it's old school and it's easy to do. But while I'm flying, a lot of the maneuvers strung together, and you're tumbling around, you're doing stuff, and then I set up for my old-fashioned loop. I just drive for the ground about 100 feet. I pull up, and I just do an old-fashioned big old loop, and it's just relaxing. You're upside down, and it just reminds me of why I like aerobatics so much. And the rest of them, like I like doing torque rolls. Those are fun. Double hammerheads are fun. Knife edge passes down the runway, all the way down the length of the runway. In a biplane, you can do it. And then on top of that, I really enjoy flying in formation with my friends, where you're like ducks, and we're all together, tight formation, doing photo shoots or aerobatics or something. Those are all some of my favorites.
Nice. That's awesome. My favorite maneuver is probably, oh man, this is tough. I like the inside tumble.
Yep.
That Rob Holland does.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Brad can do it too, partially, but those are really. I mean, you got to practice a lot to get them. In my biplane, it's one of the more. It's not like Tucker's plane, because he had that thing highly modified, but it can do. I can take and do a tumble where I'm going end over end, but I can only do one because it's a biplane. It's got 2 wings. It just stops it, but. Yeah, isn't that cool? And even it looks like an RC plane doing all their stuff.
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind. And Rob's such a cool guy. He's just real down to earth, real quiet, but real humble. But he's really good, and he's one of the best.
Nice, he is. I saw him at Miramar in 2022 along with you, but he didn't come to California at all this year. I was kind of bummed about that.
Yeah, if you look at it in the airshow world, like I stay in the West Coast, and then my friends that are there in the East Coast, and it's just because of the cost of moving a plane. That means the producer has to pay more money to get us there. So we have this propensity, like I'll stay in the West Coast, west of the Mississippi, they stay east, and then every once in a while, like they'll pay the money to bring them out. Like Gulian was out, he's from Massachusetts, and then Rob came out. Kirby was there. Kirby's from Phoenix area. Kirby Chambliss, and then I think Kent was there, but Kent Peach with the Jelly Belly. But he's not flying this next year. I think he's taking a couple years off. He's taking a break.
Oh, why is that?
Probably Marnie, his wife, just telling him, you need to spend some time. Oh, I don't know. Kent's kind of a funny guy. And he was doing like 30 air shows a year, which is a lot. And he's retired from the airlines, and he had 2 airplanes and just traveling a lot. I think he just needs to take a break sometimes. And I understand that, because I've actually felt that way at times, because it's just too much life, and you're just traveling too much and you want to spend time at home and relax a little bit. So I think he's just taking a break, and maybe he'll come back into it next year or the year after, or maybe not at all. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I love performing, or excuse me, I love watching Kent. He's very awesome. And then I hope Rob Holland comes to Luke Air Force Base next year.
Yeah.
I hope you do too.
Yeah, well, it's funny because Luke, I live here in Phoenix, but I've never flown that air show.
Oh,
the old
really?
saying by Wayne Handley, who's a longtime air show pilot, not in the business now, but Wayne always said you have to travel 800 miles to be a hero. So I've flown deep into Mexico, deep into Canada, but a couple air shows. I've never flown Tucson here. I've never flown Luke Air Force Base. I will be at Buckeye the third week of the 15th, 16th, 17th of February, right here in Buckeye, Arizona's eastern part of Phoenix area. So that's the first air show of the season, which is nice. It's a 20-minute flight. I don't have to fly forever. I just jump in my airplane, all of a sudden, boom, I'm where I need to be.
Awesome. And then next question is, what is the best aviation? Oh wait, excuse me. What is your favorite air show to perform at? We'll save that for next question.
What's the question then again? Say it again.
What is your favorite air show to perform at?
A specific one, or just the type of air show?
Just the type of air show.
Yeah, I don't want to get specific because I'll make all the other producers mad about not picking that. But I like 2. I like the Miramar, March Air Force Base, the large air shows. I really like those because they're all the impact of people that can see you. But I go to the hangar and I can't see all the people. It's impossible. Versus a small town air show, maybe 2,000 people show up and they got fried chicken for the VIP dinner. You meet the mayor, you meet all the business owners, and I'm walking around with them, and you get to talk to them. And so it's very personable. And then you just jump in your airplane, do some aerobatics, come back down and talk to the mayor for a little bit. And those are really fun because it's much more intimate, I should say. But I think for this next year, and I flew it 2 years ago, and the year before that is Salinas, California.
Nice.
It's just beautiful. It's not far from Monterey Bay. It's a beautiful setting, and they have the marine layer clouds that come in, so you got to fight with that sometimes, try to beat it before it takes over the place. So you got to land really quick. It's just, and the people and the air show itself is a lot of fun. Brad and I flew that air show twice. We have it again this next year in September. We'll be flying it, and Brad and I are both contracted there for September.
Oh, nice. Awesome. And then what advice, or what's the best aviation advice you've ever received?
Yeah, you know what it is? Pride. Don't have it. I've lost 80 some odd friends in the airshow business in 21 years. And I started in the business at number 149 on the seniority list. I was a new guy on the block. And I'm number 7 right now in seniority. Through a couple of people retired, some people got out, but the rest of them died. And so the thing is, thanks, but you kind of get used to it. And what you learn over time is like the crowd doesn't care. They do, they don't. The pilots do. The pilots want to see the really cool maneuvers, but the crowd, the fact that you can fly an airplane, that you can do a loop, you can do a roll, you have some cool maneuvers. The thing is, all the maneuvers like that myself and my friends fly, we're very capable of handling those maneuvers, but don't start pushing new things at an air show that you've never practiced before. Don't do stuff to these gee whiz maneuvers because somebody's doing something better than you, or maybe they're more accomplished than you are. The best thing to do is just swallow the pride, fly your routine, do what you know how to do, and stay alive. Same thing in aviation, that I noticed that when I go to a smaller air show and maybe with 50, 60,000 people there, and after I'm done flying the air show, I spend the night, but then people are jumping in the airplane, taking off, and they're pulling back on the stick really sharp, or they're banking really sharp with passengers on board. And don't. I mean, you're not an air show pilot, and you may be qualified to do it, but the airplane's not, and you don't know what you have. So just limit the pride, and just be a really good pilot and fly safely. If you're going to take aviation lessons, listen to people who have been doing it for a long time, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. If somebody tells you don't do that, don't do it. So stay alive by being respectful, keep the pride in check, and I think you'll live a long time that way.
Got it. That is very good advice. Thank you for that. And a lot of it is just coming down to listening to your instructors, doing what you're told, and not messing around, and just doing what you're told to. So, so cool to see you guys. And yes, this is Harvard. Need to go to dinner. So have a happy New Year and best wishes from me.
Yeah. Well, to Harvard, which is Howard in English.
Oh.
Harvard, have a barley pop for me, brother.
Yeah. Happy New Year, sir.
It's awesome. Yeah, you too, Brady.
Yeah. And then what advice can you give to inspiring aviators like myself here?
Don't give up. A quick story. When I was flying at an air show, about my third year in, I was in Alamosa, Colorado, and I was signing autographs after the air show, and I saw this 15-year-old.
Oh, wow.
He came up to me, and he said, can I have your autograph, Mr. Melby? I said, absolutely. So I signed it, and he said, wow, this is so great. And he said, I want to be a pilot someday, but I don't have any money, and I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm like, well, you know, it depends on how bad you want it. I mean, if it's easy, everybody would do it. And so I didn't have any money either. I had to ride my bicycle to the airport. I saved money. I did whatever I had to pay for it. And but I said, but you have a Civil Air Patrol here. You could always join that and then get involved at least and meet other people that are pilots. And who knows where it'll take you. Maybe you'll become an Air Force pilot someday. 10 years later, I'm at Little Rock Air Force Base performing in an air show. Now I'm a veteran air show pilot. And I'm standing there, and this guy comes up, and he's wearing a Air Force flight suit. Good-looking guy, tall, about 26 years old or so. And I said, hey, Mr. Melby. I'm like, hey, how you doing? He said, my name is such and such, and I just wanted to just meet you and say hi and thank you. I go, for what? He said, well, I was at Alamosa, Colorado 10 or 11 years ago, and your advice worked out. I went to Civil Air Patrol. I ended up going to ROTC, became a pilot, and I'm here at this air show as an F-15 demo pilot, and I chose this show knowing that you're going to be here because I wanted to fly with you and say thank you. So because of you, I became an Air Force pilot, and I want to thank you. And so my hair is standing up in the back of my head. So the thing is, he didn't have any money. He didn't have anything. So advice I have to say to you is that when it's like, this is going to be impossible, I can't do it, there's all these roadblocks in front of you. The most beautiful thing is when you press through those roadblocks and achieve your dream, and then you sit there with your pilot's license or your next rating that you get, and you're also part of a very select group of people. Even, Braden, for you getting 6 hours, guess what? You're working towards flying much more than you did before you started flying. So you're part of a really cool group of people that are pursuing their dreams. So don't stop dreaming and don't stop walking forward to do what you need to do. And you can do it. It may not be easy, but I mean, that's half the fun of it. Is like I achieved the impossible. So don't quit.
Got it. That's very good advice. Thank you for that. And I'm sure everybody would love to hear that. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hey, Anthony Oshanuga, welcome to the live, sir.
Anthony!
I interviewed him, I think in July. I don't even know when, but he's a very awesome guy, great performer.
Anthony is like probably one of the best at doing social media marketing. And he and I did a shot, I don't know, it's probably like before COVID, we were someplace, and we did a shout out. I think it was either on Instagram or something, but we were just doing a live shot. And it was just really fun. He was by his airplane, I was by mine, and we just got together and did the shot. And I don't see Anthony as much, but I'd like to see him again soon. But hope Anthony, I hope you're doing okay, dude.
Yeah, I hope you're doing all right. And yeah, so man, oh yeah, did you hear the news that the Italian Air Force jet team is going to tour the United States in 2024?
Oh, great! I didn't know if it was the French or the Italian, but it's the Italian.
Yeah, it's the Frise Tricolori.
Okay,
I don't know how you say it.
nice. Yeah, and I think they even have colored smoke with theirs, kind of like the French do, and the British Arrows do that, and so they got different colored. It's kind of, I don't know how they do it, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. I want to go see them in Sacramento because they're performing at the California Capitol Air Show in July.
Yep.
John is the best. All good here, 100.
All right.
And they're coming to my hometown, says Bison Aviation.
Where's hometown? Bison Aviation. It'd be Bison.
But yeah, Bison. I don't know.
To potato, tomato.
Yeah. Man. So before so the Planes of Fame Air Show out in Chino, they haven't had their air show. Oh, Rochester, New York.
Okay, there we go. Yep.
Got it. So the Planes of Fame Air Show, they haven't had their air show since 2019 due to all this road work on the construction side of things.
I didn't know that. So is Steve Hinton still putting that on, or is his son doing it?
Yeah, he's still the president, but Steve Hinton Jr., Steve-O, he does like the heritage flights now and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll have to get a hold of him because I think I went out there one time just because I was bored, and I went and flew by Bonanza to the air show just to show up, and I saw Steve Hinton Sr., and I was just walking around with my wife, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I was bored. I wanted to come to an air show. I normally don't go to air shows unless I'm performing in it, but I like to see all the World War II planes." He's like,
wow.
"Get in here," and he threw me into the VIP tent and hung out with him, and I saw my buddies there, like Jason Soames and all those guys, where it's just kind of fun hang out with my warbird buddies because I don't spend a lot of time with them. They call me the flip-flop guy. So the flip-flop guy goes over here, and the warbirds, the warbies, they're over on the other side. We're all really good friends, though.
Awesome. And they're doing the show my B-Day weekend, so that's a bonus.
Nice.
All right.
Perfect.
That's going to be fun to watch.
New York.
Yeah.
Happy birthday on that one. That's a good birthday present.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. So, oh man. Okay, so the Miramar Air Show this year, 2023, was probably one of my best years ever attending that show.
Great.
Because I was on the media list this year.
Nice.
I went media day on Thursday. I got interviewed by ABC 10 News down in San Diego, California.
Nice.
It's in a story highlight for the air show. It's Miramar AS 2023.
Mm-hmm.
The air show wouldn't fit. I don't know why. It's limited characters for that. Mm-hmm. And it's really great. I got to meet Rob Ryder and Matt Jolly there.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, I think for 3 years in a row, they're the announcers. They're always fun to work with. Those guys
they are.
Crack me up. They're joking around.
Yep. I even got to go to the stand and see how they're run there, and they gave me a nice little shout out.
Cool. Yeah, it's a nice little setup, and they both do great. Rob's retiring after this year. Did you know that?
Oh no, I didn't. Really?
Announced his retirement at the end of this season, 2024.
Oh man.
Yeah, so this is it. And I've flown air shows with him all the way back to 2005.
Oh wow.
And so, usually 1 or 2 a year I fly with Rob, especially back in the day when I was sponsored. So I did a lot more air shows and I travel a lot more. So I run into those guys more often. And Matt Jolly, just a couple air shows a year, I work with him. Rob and Matt separately, other than Miramar.
Oh, wow. I gotta attend as much air shows with him announcing as possible.
Yeah, you got to get it in while you can. And then they'll get a whole new crop of guys coming in because some of the guys are getting out of the business, the air show side. And, I'm at 62 years old. I'll probably fly for a few more years. And I might even put the Bonanza in and maybe just back off on the pits and because I have an aerobatic Bonanza. So like Jim Pikes. And so he's got the northern United States, and maybe I'll just take the West Coast with the Bonanzas. The IFR, it's easy, comfortable, and I'm going to put an autopilot in. I just show up, do a little bit of minor acrobatics, and call it a day and head home.
Nice. So where can viewers go to find more about your performances?
So I'm in the process of redoing my website. So so right now, fearboss.com is one, and then JonMelby.com. I'm resurrecting it because it's too hard to keep all the stuff tracked. So I'm actually separating them out. So JonMelby.com is where I should have the website completed throughout the weekend here, and I'll have all the performance locations, videos, all the other stuff. Also get in touch with me, and I'm putting in there where you can get a autograph card signed by me digitally, and with your name on it, and so it can you'll be able to get that off the website as well. So Jon Melby, JonMelby.com.
Awesome! I can't wait till it's out. I still tell people about the dinner we had with airmen. Need to get back to Buckeye.
Who's that? Who said that one?
Breaks Off Photography.
Oh, yeah. Breaks Off. I'm trying to. Well, I know the name, but I can't remember who's who.
His name's Jeremy Myers.
Oh yeah, Jeremy. Yeah. Except he moved. I forgot where he moved someplace. He doesn't live in Arizona any longer.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah. Started doing what he does. He does the Good Morning Airshow fans. I do that. I did that when I went to Miramar and Huntington Beach.
Nice.
But I made mine a little shorter.
Now you live in SoCal? Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I live in Yorba Linda. It's a city.
Yep. I know where it's at.
Shepherd Air Force Base.
Yeah. So maybe I'll see you if not Salinas. Maybe if you're going to go out to Buckeye, you might see you there. Otherwise, still working on air show contracts for the West Coast. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll see you one of the shows.
Yeah.
Then we'll do a live event there. I'll get you access into the pit there with me and get you in there so you can get some live action shots.
Awesome. Thank you. That would be very amazing. So everybody, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Jon, for coming on Hangar Talk this week and interviewing.
Thanks for the invite, and also Happy New Year to everybody. Remember, dreams do come true, so just keep dreaming. And I'm so glad I could be a part of this, and wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can't wait to see you at future air shows, and Happy New Year to you as well.
You bet. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, take care, Jon. Thank you again.
Bye-bye now.
Bye, sir.